Hello chess students, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be continuing going through the book Bobby Fischer's Outrageous Chess Moves. I'm going to be showing you 5 positions from 5 different games, and you will try to guess the move and figure out the idea. So this first position is Fischer versus Paul Banco in 1962. So you can pause the video now to try to figure out the answer. And the answer is queen captures h6. The idea being is if the pawn recaptures, then you have a nice mate like this. Let's say the king moves out of the way, then you have an immediate mate like this. Queen captures g7. Okay, this next position is Armando Acevedo versus Fischer in Siegen 1970. So you can pause the video now. Okay, the answer is knight captures c3. And the idea is if the knight recaptures, then you win the rook, check. But so the king has to recapture, and then you move rook a1 to attack the knight. And the knight has nowhere to move. All these squares are occupied. All of the possible places where the knight can move to are occupied by the white's team, so he can't go there. And if the king moves back to protect the knight, then you just capture with the rook. And if the king captures, then you win a piece. I mean, you win back the rook. And since you won a pawn, this is a winning endgame. So, and obviously the rook can't block because then it would just be captured. Okay, this next position is Fischer versus Istvan Bilic, New York, Havana, 1965. So you can pause the video now to try and find the answer. So the answer is f5. And the idea is basically you're trying to capture these two enemy pawns and then push your own pawns down the board to go get a queen. So if the pawn tries to recapture this way, then the queen just wins the rook with check. So you can't do that. So he moves here to block the discovery, of the queen on the rook. And then now you can win this pawn like this. And then you do lose a pawn this way, but it's okay because these two pawns will be able to queen. So check, and the queen goes to f5, you win a pawn, and then now these two pawns are pretty powerful and are two connected pass pawns. So white improved his pawn structure. Before they were isolated, doubled isolated pawns. Now they're two connected pass pawns. So they're much more effective in moving down the board. So then you move f4, and if the king moves here, then you just push your pawn up. Okay, this next position is Fischer versus Julio Bobochan in Stockholm, 1962. So you can pause the video now to try to find the answer. Okay, the answer is queen to b3. This is a very creative move because you're setting up this discovered attack on the king. So this rook here is going to be able to move anywhere most effectively and then also do check. So it doesn't matter if he moves to an attack square because the king is under attack here. So in the game, the rook captured f4, and then instead of capturing the bishop on g5, the rook moved to e5 because this is more effective. It's a faster checkmate. So the king goes to f8, rook captures here, and then if the king captures like this, then you have this nice move, queen to e6. And now there's a mate in 1. So pause the video now to find the mate in 1. The move is queen to c8. This is game over. Okay, this next position is Fischer versus James Sherwin, New York, 1962. So you can pause the video now to find the answer. Okay, so the first move is knight to f5. And the idea is if you make, so you are weakening the square on g2, but white has an effective mate threat. So that's why he's able to move there. So if the rook captures here, king goes to f1, now he's safe. Knight can't go to e5 because the bishop is protecting. And then the rook has no more squares to attack the king. So let's say you make a random move. Then now there's checkmate in 1 move. So the king had, in the game, black had to make this move b6 in order to create an escape square for the king. So check, capture. And the idea is that if the king captures the knight, then you lose the rook. So can't capture the knight. So what black does, he moves to attack the bishop. You simply move the knight away to a safe square. And then you move the bishop to protect it away from the rook. Okay, so those are 5 positions from Bobby Fischer's outrageous chess moves. Yeah, hope you're doing well and stay safe.